ਸੋ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦੋਸ਼ ਲੱਗੇ ਨੇ, ਭਾਰਤ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਨਕਾਰ ਰਿਹਾ। ਭਾਰਤ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਕ੍ਰੈਡੀਬਲ ਐਵੀਡੈਂਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਵਜੂਦ ਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਕਹੀ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਾਲ ਹੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ।
ਨਿਜਰਸ ਮਰਡਰ ਇਨ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ and then subsequently got connected to attempt on Pannu's life, that militant guy who lives in US and speaks against India or government of India. I think all this has created a huge mess and diplomatic chaos which could have been handled in a better way.
So don't you think that probably these agents overstepped their briefings and they worked a little bit in a different manner, which is now causing embarrassment to India, despite India not acknowledging and still asking for credible evidence?
See, Harpreet ji, I do agree 100%. It is not that India will never be able to say that we did this. When you go back to how we fought back proxy militancy, which was being sponsored by Pakistan and some other non-state actors supported by other external agencies, I do know that we were able to fight back because our intelligence agency was able to plant our sources in those organizations in very well placed way. I am going to tell you, we used to tell Pakistan that if you will support terrorism, you will face terrorism. And I am forewarning to Indian police officers and Indian intelligence agencies. If we are supporting these gangsters to deal with the organized crime, our gangsterism will increase, our threats will increase, our extortions will increase, and many senior leaders and guys will get killed. Stop this. Please stop this. These assisted deliveries and this kind of methodology needs to be stopped.
ਦ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਦੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਨਿੱਘਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਟਿਆਲੇ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਾਥ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਗੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਢਿੱਲੋਂ, IPS ਰਿਟਾਇਰਡ ਐਜ਼ ਐਡੀਸ਼ਨਲ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟਰ ਜਨਰਲ ਆਫ ਪੰਜਾਬ। ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਬੜੀ ਨਾਜ਼ੁਕ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ 'ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਅਤੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਵਿਚਕਾਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਸਮੇਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਥੱਲੇ ਜਾ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਜੋ ਵਾਰਤਾਲਾਪ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ 6 ਡਿਪਲੋਮੈਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਭਾਰਤ ਨੇ ਐਕਸਪੈਲ ਕੀਤਾ ਅਤੇ 6 ਹੀ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਨੇ ਐਕਸਪੈਲ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੇ। RCMP ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੀ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਫੋਰਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੋਸ਼ ਲਾਏ ਨੇ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਿ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਮੁਲਾਜ਼ਮ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਏਜੰਟਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਐਕਸਟੋਰਸ਼ਨਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਕੋਰਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਹੋਮਿਸਾਈਡਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦੋਸ਼ ਲੱਗੇ ਨੇ, ਭਾਰਤ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਨਕਾਰ ਰਿਹਾ। ਭਾਰਤ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਕ੍ਰੈਡੀਬਲ ਐਵੀਡੈਂਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਵਜੂਦ ਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਕਹੀ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਾਲ ਹੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਇੰਪਲੀਕੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਕੀ ਮੋਡਸ ਆਪਰੈਂਡਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਰੇਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਅਤੇ ਗੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਢਿੱਲੋਂ ਜੀ ਬੜੇ ਲੰਮੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਤੋਂ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ, ਹਾਲ ਹੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਿਟਾਇਰ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਫਸਟ ਹੈਂਡ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਹੈ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਮਿਲੀਟੈਂਸੀ ਸੀ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਡੀਲ ਕੀਤਾ, ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਉਹ ਆਪਰੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਚਲਾਏ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਰੇਟਿਵਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਆਓ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਟਿਆਲੇ ਤੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਦਾ ਸਿਲਸਿਲਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਗੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਢਿੱਲੋਂ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ। ਗੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਜੀ, ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਫਰੋਮ ਹੇਅਰ ਐਂਡ ਗੁੱਡ ਈਵਨਿੰਗ ਟੂ ਯੂ ਫਰੋਮ India. Welcome.
Good morning and yes, good evening. Thank you.
So I would like to start off with this conversation as to the developments that have happened between India and Canada. As a former police officer, how do you look towards it? What implications can this have in future?
I feel that the kind of diplomatic tussle we are having, I think this could have been avoided. There has been reactions and actions on both sides. Canada is a Western democracy and it's a powerful nation, and there is a diaspora of India. For example, 2.2% population of Punjab, 6 more so, is in Canada. And at the same time, there is sufficient population of Punjabi students there. And if we club the two populations together, student and the residents there, it will be around 1 million, rather more than that. So at the same time, this ill will or this discord which happened because of Nijjar's murder in Canada, and then subsequently got connected to attempt on Pannu's life, that militant guy who lives in US and speaks against India or government of India. I think all this has created a huge mess and diplomatic chaos, which could have been handled in a better way.
Canada is saying again and again that we have given credible evidence to India about the involvement of Indian agents in the murder of Nijjar, as well as other issues that are happening in Canada, like extortions, like coercions. So, despite all this, India is still denying that India is not at all involved in this. Of course, at the diplomatic level, as you have mentioned, that things could have been settled in a better way. But you have been very closely associated with the militancy in Punjab also, and of course, every country has their or agents working in the countries where they are. So, for example, Indian agents must have been operating in Canada, and Canadian agents must have been operating in India. But most of the top bureaucrats and the top police officers who have been holding positions of power at the national level were basically Punjab cadre officers. So, you also being a Punjab cadre officer, is it the same kind of modus operandi which you see was operated in Canada by Indian agencies, or is it something different? Can you please take us into this issue as to what all happened?
Harpreet, I feel, see, there are two things. One is perception, one is reality. I would like to, before I come to the core answer of your direct question, I would like to add that we all know that 5 countries, that includes USA, UK, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, they have Anglosphere intelligence alliance known in the name of Five Eyes. And they do military intelligence sharing, human intelligence, signal intelligence, and their core is public safety. Now, when this matter started, one point is very important that I feel that in Western world, if a prime minister of the Western democracy stands in the parliament and gives a statement, I don't think he can ever afford to lie. Recently, there was one Singapore parliamentarian who twice lied to the Parliament of Singapore, and I think he has been convicted for 3 years. So it means last year when Mr. Trudeau spoke in the Parliament of Canada, as per the perception what is carried about the Western democracies, I am not talking about the South Asian or our democracy in Asia's parliaments, where we many times allege that we do tell lies. Normal perceptions is, so the core question started when Mr. Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, he gave one statement in Parliament of Canada. Knowing the Western democracies, I do feel that Canadian Prime Minister, it is very difficult for Canadian Prime Minister to lie in the Parliament of Canada because those are very strong democracies. But going back on this, it means you will find, based on this Anglosphere Intelligence Alliance, which is called Five Eyes, and then they have 5 attorney generals, which they call quintet, which they share legal tangles of coming out of these intelligence matters. So they are very well connected. And if you will remember, when Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Trudeau, gave a statement in Parliament, America did not deny it, and even Australia supported it. It means there was something which was considered to be truthful in nature. So I feel when I go back to your question regarding there was many IPS officer, cadre IPS from Punjab, as you said, I don't want to comment on that, but yes, this is in public domain that there were in Canada, Dubai, or whichever, UK, etc. I do feel that many of those have worked at anti-terrorist front in Punjab when there was militancy at peak. I have fair knowledge how it happened, but I don't want to go back into it. Your one question is modus operandi. Now, suppose if the same modus operandi was adopted while dealing with Nijjar or UK or Mr. Pannu, I think it was unwanted. But I think the loose cannon was CC1. I have the name, but I don't want to say the name of that officer who was working in RAW. He, through Nikhil Gupta, even in that case where Pannu's assassination attempt came up in discussion between US and India, I feel that I know in Punjab there are about 150 to 200 police officers who are facing criminal trials because of some violations during fight against militancy in Punjab. But I do know that Punjab government, state police, and government of India, they do help those persons having a feeling that they work for the country. But I feel that when you are doing, if you are adopting the same modus operandi outside the country, that also in Western democracies, I don't think any officer sitting in the Indian Foreign Intelligence Agency will ever be able to afford it. That these five eyes will not know what is happening because nothing can escape
Right.
this thing. So that is why recently it came that CC1 was arrested by government of India and along with few private persons, and they are on bail. Now, I just want to say that when you were dealing with Indian Punjab militancy, you don't have an oversight. If there were violations, the only oversight was the courts, and fortunately, courts intervened also, and to an extent, certain things came out. But it is not there that you will find that such thing can happen in Western world, or our modus operandi, the same officers can adopt that in Western democracies and threaten citizens of friendly nations like powerful nations like Canada or USA or UK, where we have very good diplomatic relations. We want to build our relations further better. So at the same time, we can't cause threat or public safety issue to the citizens of these countries. I do feel that CC1 did go beyond his brief, probably, or if he was within brief also, his handling of the operation was so bad that it has caused huge embarrassment to government of India, and which is unacceptable. Wherever there was either this way or that way, the perception among the people whom I interact more so among the Sikh population in Punjab or this thing, majority feel that government of India was at fault.
Right. Mr. Dhillon, there is no doubt that extra constitutional measures were adopted in Punjab, and because of that, now about 200 police officers are facing trial in the courts, and they are being supported. But the question that arises is that you have been in uniform for more than 3 decades, and you retired recently. Is it possible that an officer can do whatever he or she wants without the support of the central government agencies or the central government? Can they, like you mentioned about CCI, can they go on their own and go up to such an extent that later on it becomes an embarrassment for a country?
See, Harpreet, I do feel that this, if we have admitted to an extent that in Pannu's case, CC1, our officer in the Foreign Intelligence Agency, had something to do with it, it is almost like giving an indication that there is something wrong. And then again, it is coming that the committee which has been constituted by government of India, it is probing into it, and they may go to USA also. Now imagine Nikhil Gupta, who was the source of this CC1, and he was double agent. About few weeks back, the ex-RAW chief also referred to this, that Nikhil Gupta was probably a double agent, and he was giving every information to US government or the undercover officer who was handling this situation. I'm again coming back to those five eyes matter. If as a police officer in India, or our national security setup, NSA setup, if they can feel that our officer can operate without the knowledge or supervision or monitoring of these five eyes, I think it is totally a wrong step if it has happened. And that is why
Mhm.
we are having a problem with Canada, we are having problem with USA, and we are facing embarrassment. I do feel that if I was part of the government of India, I would have just felt that this issue has caused a huge embarrassment to government of India. Though diplomatic channels, we may be saying that they wanted our six officers to be given taken off immunity, so we withdraw. Canada is saying that they have expelled, and in diplomatic parlance, quid pro quo, we have also expelled six Canadian diplomats. Idea is that
Mhm.
when we are saying that we are a powerful nation now, we want to build our relations with the West better than what we had in past. We needed to handle this
Right.
issue. I would again say that national security setup need to move on. We need to reform more and have better kind of wisdom if they failed in these three incidents.
Right. But Mr. Dello, generally it is said that militancy in Punjab was handled or curtailed because of the usage of extra constitutional powers that were given to the officers, and that is how militancy could be handled. And probably that thought also that some infringe elements living abroad in Canada, UK, or America, or Australia, they can also be handled in the same manner. You very rightly said that the situation in Punjab, but internationally it's different than what it was in Punjab. So, don't you think that probably these agents overstepped their briefings and they worked a little bit in a different manner, which is now causing embarrassment to India, despite India not acknowledging and still asking for credible evidence?
See, Harpreet, I do agree, 100%. It is not that India will never be able to say that we did this. When you go back to how we fought back proxy militancy, which was being sponsored by Pakistan and some other non-state actors supported by other external agencies, I do know that we were able to fight back because our intelligence agency was able to plant our sources in those organizations in very well placed way. Similarly, if some Sikh organization or the innocent Sikhs in Canada or USA or UK, even those people who are protesting and demonstrating pro Khalistan this thing, if they feel that our intelligence agencies are that poor, they will not have moles or art plants in these organizations. It is foolish. Every organization, it is government of India. The government has to ensure that we keep a watch over whatever is happening. And they have the right to do that. Government of India has the right to monitor what is happening, which is considered anti-national, which is being propagated against India. But I still feel till this it is all right. If we are considering that now we are very powerful nation, we are becoming coming up to be superpower. We will be third largest or fifth largest economy in next decade. Then we have to conduct
Mhm.
ourselves, gathering information, putting your agents in gurdwaras or in Khalistani organizations or other things is okay. But I think overstepping the brief, if it has happened, I again using the word if, because now I am a politician also. If I was only a retired police officer, I could have been more blunt without hesitation that we could have avoided if this has happened as we have arrested CC1 because of the pressure of US government. If that indicates that something wrong has happened, it means this should not have been allowed. This should not have happened. We should not have overstepped our this step. And I also know that you can't keep agents without the knowledge of the other nations. When both the nations,
Mhm.
you have to disclose your persons who are working in intelligence network of your foreign intelligence agencies. That's a common diplomatic history that you have to tell each other that these are
Mhm.
our men. But if we have overstepped that brief out of some modus operandi linked to Punjab or Punjab officers or over enthusiasm as if we will be able to get something back, I feel this embarrassment has been caused because of lack of wisdom. And I am of the firm opinion,
Right.
having more than 3 decades of experience of all kind, I don't want to go again back and back to militancy. We are a very powerful nation. But we need to understand that if we want to work as a seasoned superpower, then we will have to follow the rule-based order what we propagate, and we don't want to cause
Mhm.
uh, safety, public safety to the foreign citizens of our friendly nation.
Right. Well, the question of if is a matter of concern. And Mr. Dhillon, you are wearing two turbans, one of a retired police officer, a senior police officer, and the other of now being a senior Congress leader. But the question that arises is that RCMP, which is our Canada's national police organization, has laid out the details how these operations were happening. And unlike India, the police here is not under the politicians. It is an independent organization. You know it very well. So now that coming from the RCMP, as you very rightly said before also, that the prime minister of a Western democracy cannot in parliament lie. But anyways, it was being said it is vote bank politics. Mr. Trudeau is playing that. Leaving that aside, now the seal has been put on the paper that the RCMP has come out and is talking about it. So now, don't think that India should accept it and let the matters go on and try to solve it instead of further on creating more tensions between both the countries?
See, Harpreet, I would like to add, to be neutral. One thing is that if Nijjar's murder had not happened or not occurred, whichever way it occurred, okay, some people say
Mm-hmm.
that he was, uh, the perception is also among the turban heads when I went travel to NRI that Mr. Nijjar was their mole and they have killed him. Now, all these things are
Mm-hmm.
perception games. The reality is there was murder of one Mr. Nijjar, who was a Gurdwara head for long, and that gave an opportunity to Mr. Trudeau to speak in Parliament. If there was no such event,
Right.
how could have President or Prime Minister of that country driven some political mileage out of something happened? And then
Mm-hmm.
I do agree. I have worked with the RSCMP while dealing with when I was SSP. They were very fair in dealing. They deal everything. Their dealing is on merit. If RCMP is saying something, my experience, I had been to UK also for police conference exchange program. I do feel that there will be some truth to it. And when we are accepting one part of it, there may be second part of it, which we are bound to hide in diplomatic world because we do feel that every world nation is doing it. But I feel that we are not that powerful still a nation that we can afford such operations. If such operations as RCMP is telling, and we are denying, if it has happened, I do still feel that it is because we do need to improve our NSS setup. We need to add
Mm-hmm.
more variety into it. Police officers from different area and from different fields, some army officers, so that we gain wisdom in national security setup. So while dealing with whatever Khalistani movement, I don't think one thing I would say that if somebody is saying Khalistan Jindabad in Punjab, it is not an offense.
Mm-hmm.
Honorable Supreme Court has already settled that just
Hmm.
mere slogans, raising slogan in India, Khalistan Jindabad, it is not an offense. That was taken by
Right.
Simranjit Singh Man up to Honorable Supreme Court. Secondly, I feel that we are not India of 70s or 80s. We are now in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And these small protests at various our high commissions or embassies, we should not have taken it in that proactive way. We could have handled it in better. And this I am saying not just out of like an emotional thing. I am saying having the fair knowledge how to handle such elements and 3 decades of experience and my being sitting at the higher level when I was in police, I feel that this government has not been able to persistently. There is a perception, whether it was Congress government or any other government or now this government, There is persistent perception among the turban heads that there is not a fair understanding of what Sikhs want, how loyal they are to the country, and intelligence agencies or other investigating agencies overstep their brief and take action which is beyond acceptance.
Right. Our guest today is Senior Police Officer Gurinder Singh Dhillon. We'll go for a short break, and once we are back, we'll talk to him a little bit more in details as to, while he has very bluntly talked about the issues that matter to us and how the situation is developing and creating cause of concern between India and Canada. But when it comes to militancy in Punjab or the question of Khalistan, while there have been protests outside the country, but in India also these demands are being raised. But what is the ground support for Khalistanis? Is it actually that the Sikhs, what they saw in the 80s, they are still continuing with that thought, or they are gone away with it? Is Khalistan a matter of concern in Punjab, while it is being talked about abroad by some Sikhs, not all the Sikhs? So we'll talk about this after this short break.
She's still pretty small, but I feel the weight of her future every day. These days, life feels heavy and uncertain for too many people, and I have work to do to lighten the load. Helping you get ahead, not just get by. Homes you can actually afford. And fixing healthcare, not cutting it. I'm David Eby, and I'll keep fighting for a better future for all of us.
And before that, we would like to tell about our sponsors. Our first sponsor today is AMC Insurance. If you're looking for any kind of insurance, whether it is home, travel, business, life, or recreational insurance, you can contact 10 branches of the AMC Insurance in the Lower Mainland, and they're open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Phone number is 604-507-6666. Our next sponsor is Agnihotri Immigration. If you want any kind of advice regarding immigration to Canada, you can contact Neera Agnihotri, who has been working as a certified immigration consultant since 2006. For honest and reliable information, call her at 604-597-2284. Our next sponsor is Sukhibat Motors. They have a very big car and a truck showroom in Surrey, and address is 15437 Fraser Highway. If you're looking for a leased or a finance vehicle, contact them at 604-580-1000. We'll be shortly back and we'll continue with the discussion. So before the break, Mr. Dhillon has very kindly been very open in talking about this issue as to what is the modus operandi and what this has caused concern between the two countries. I would like to delve a little deeper into, while abroad some Sikhs are calling for Khalistan, what is the ground reality in Punjab? Sitting over here in Canada or America, let's hear from Mr. Dhillon, because he has been very much involved as a senior police officer as to what happened in the 80s and the 90s. But what is the present ground reality right now? Mr. Dhillon, what do you would like to tell us about this?
I would be very frank in all this, Harpreet. I was ADG Law and Order. I was in Law and Order, handling Law and Order almost for 2 years. And before that, I have the experience of all this thing. Like many police officers at my level, they all have. I have dealt all sides. Like when I was not in police, I was student of Khalsa College, Gurani University in 80s. I know the other side. And when I was police officer, I dealt from the other side of the aisle, everything. Now I just want to add to what your question is. I feel as far as Punjabis, as far as Sikhs are in Punjab are concerned, there is nothing which supports Khalistan. There is a very, I would say, less than 1% of Sikh population which would have this kind of militant thought to support Khalistan or Khalistan movement in Punjab. Fringe elements, non-state actors, whether they are being supported by Pakistan or any other foreign agencies, or if we have planted some of our own people. Besides that, in Punjab, present day Punjab, what we found in 80s and now in 26, there is no threat of Khalistan, no threat of militancy openly in Punjab. I do agree that, for example, if you take population of India, Sikh population in India is 2%. And if you take the population of Canada and then you add your student population from Punjab, which is around 70% of total Indian students who have come for studies in Canada, that will be 2.5% of Canada population. It means the floating or
Right.
resident population of Sikhs in Canada is more than in India. And I feel I have interacted with NRIs, OCIs in US, UK, Canada. I have traveled. I keep interacting with public. I feel in these nations also the support of Khalistan is again in a very less amount of population, very less percentage of population,
Right.
and out of that also I feel there are many non-state actors who are sponsored by one or the other agency, and they are moving around. I am telling this based on my knowledge. It is not what I am
Mhm.
saying. It is not like I am saying in the air. It is what I know basically. Now I want to add to the Sikh
Absolutely.
population, whether it is in Punjab or whether it is in foreign shores, including Canada, where we have very high population. Sikhs were never mercenaries. Sikhs were either fighters or generals. They were not mercenaries. You can't hire a Sikh to do something at the behest of some other foreign agency or Indian agency or a foreign agency to become a
Mhm.
non-state actor. One, this thing is that if some of the Sikhs are becoming non-state actors, they are mercenaries. He can't be a Sikh. A Sikh can never be a mercenary.
Mhm. Thank you so much. Another issue which these fringe elements are causing is a cause of concern for the Sikhs, not only abroad but in India also, because there have been calls by the general population against the Sikhs. Even police officers are being called Khalistanis. There was an incident in Calcutta. There was another incident somewhere else where top high officials, Sikh officials, have been called Khalistanis. So this is creating a very different kind of environment. And when these kind of things happen, the impact which we see over here is that, see, in India, this is the kind of thought which prevails amongst the population. So how can these issues be tackled? And along with that, I would also like to add this question about the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. What is this gang? Because this has been mentioned by the RCMP also, that they are operating in Canada and they are doing the extrajudicial killings and what all is not happening. So are they so strong? Are they being supported by someone? What is happening?
I think I would not deny it if I am admitting that we had our moles in militancy, if I admit that we have our moles in Khalistani agency, protesters or organizations, when we are dealing with organized crime, there is no doubt we have our moles in the gangsters, organized criminals also. Now there is a common
Mhm.
perception in India also, more so in Punjab, that this Lawrence Bishnoi is not without a support of some agency, whether it is Indian agency or it is a foreign agency. His murder of Sidhu Moosewala is the gravest blot on all this. And the kind of weapon used during the crime where Mr. Moosewala got killed is not easily available with the gangsters. Number two, his interview from the police station, we call it CIA Kharad. Okay,
Mhm.
it can't be without sport. If somebody would say that there was no police support or there was no external support and he could give an interview there, I would consider him that statement to be foolish, because all this shows now he is in Gujarat jail. He should have been in Punjab jail. He should be kept somewhere in Punjab because his cases are in Punjab or other ways also. But now he is put up in a Gujarat jail. Why? Number two, I want to give this message now as a politician. We used to tell that Pakistan supported militancy, and now
Mhm.
Pakistan is facing reverse militancy, and you will find there are bombs, there are killings, there are terrorist incidents in Pakistan. I just want to tell, as a police officer, I don't want to support any gangster if I'm a police officer and I am the member of the Punjab
Mhm.
Police or I am a member of the Central Intelligence Agency. I would never like to take a sport of an organized criminal to sort out the organized crime because
Right. And finally, Mr. Dillon, with the kind of situation developed right now, what we are seeing, where relations have gone to the lowest ebb, what do you think should be done now so that something can be brought forward whereby relations can be restored and that trust which used to exist between India and Canada is coming forward? Because, as you very rightly mentioned, still Canada is a major destination for students from Punjab, from India. So, what needs to be done towards the end? What would be your thought on this?
I would just like to add to it that Canada is a Western democracy. Canada, America are like two buddies. Similarly, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, they are democracies. On one part, we are part of the Quad in the Atlantic Ocean and South China Sea. Whatever has happened, we need to call reform. We need to move on. If something wrong was committed by somebody from our organization, he should be taken to task. We have, as per as diplomatic language, if our 6 diplomats were removed from, taken back or removed from Canadian High Commission, we have done it. So it should end it here. I feel that kind of economic relations, we are sitting with China on one side and Pakistan on one side. We are talking about two-front war. At present, under present circumstances, except Russia, there is none of the Western democracies who are our best friends. Having knowledge of military studies and international relations, having read a lot about it, I still feel our national security setup need to reform. We need to build better relations with Western democracy. Let us not react about these few Khalistanis too much. We are not that weak a nation that the few Khalistanis can topple us. For example, why are we worried about this guy, uh, Pannu? He's a single machine. Let him say whatever he wants to say. Let him say till somebody comes in and tries to create a problem. Punjab police strong enough, Indian police is strong enough to handle with them. Let us not fight a perception game. Stop this, and we shall build our relations with Canada, US better. Although today only we are buying uh, drones, Predator drones from USA worth 32,000 crores. It means we need all this. We need to build more friends to fight China and Pakistan together. We need to have friends in Western democracies, and for that, our Government of India's External Affairs Ministry and National Security setup need to reform, need to move on, and they need to have more wisdom.
Right. Mr. Gurinder Dhillon, thank you very much for your thoughts. It was a pleasure talking to you, and thanks for being so insightful and so much, open in your talk, for letting us know actually what has happened and what needs to be done. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸਨ ਜੀ ਗੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਢਿੱਲੋਂ ਜੀ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਬਕਾ ADGP ਨੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ, ਬੜੇ ਹਾਈ ਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨਸ 'ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ। ਅਤੇ ਜੋ ਇਹ ਕੁਝ ਇਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਬਣੀ ਪਈ ਹੈ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਅਤੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਵਿਚਕਾਰ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਸਪਸ਼ਟ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਬੜੇ ਵਿਬਾਕੀ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਸੋਲਵ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੋਡਸ ਆਪਰੈਂਡੀ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਇਨਵੋਲਵਡ ਸਨ ਜੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਮਿਲੀਟੈਂਸੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਇਆ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਐਕਸਪਲੇਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਇਹੀ ਸਮਾਂ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਬੈਟਰ ਹੋਏ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿਚਕਾਰ, ਅਤੇ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਏਜੰਸੀ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਕੀਤਾ, ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਰਿਫਾਰਮ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਐਸਪੈਕਟ ਨੂੰ ਟੱਚ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਉੱਤੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਧਿਆਨ ਦੇਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ।
She's still pretty small, but I feel the weight of her future every day. These days, life feels heavy and uncertain for too many people, and I have work to do to lighten the load. Helping you get ahead, not just get by. Homes you can actually afford. And fixing healthcare, not cutting it. I'm David Eden, and I'll keep fighting for a better future for all of us.
Our other sponsors for today's program were Basant Motors. If you are wanting to finance or lease a car, You can go to their showroom at 16315 Fraser Highway, Surrey, and you won't be dejected because they will treat you like a guest and provide you the best services. 604-572-7880 is their phone number. Our next sponsor is Bharat Jewelers. If you're looking for gold jewelry in Surrey, come over to unit number 115-8120 128th Street, Surrey, and phone number is 604-593-1111. Our next sponsor is SK Home Designs. Everybody wants their home to be looked as beautiful and the best, so you can contact Sandeep, who has over 30 years of experience as an interior designer. She'll give a new look to your home. 604-825-9295 is her phone number. ਇਸ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੀ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ। ਸਮਾਂ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੋਣ ਲਈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਸਾਡੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦਾ ਮਕਸਦ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਐਜੂਕੇਟ ਕਰਨਾ, ਇੰਪਾਵਰ ਕਰਨਾ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਹੀ ਸਮਝ ਰੱਖ ਸਕੋ, ਅਤੇ ਇਸੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਬੁਲਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਐਂਡ ਇਫ ਯੂ ਆਰ ਲਾਈਕਿੰਗ ਦਿਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਸ, ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਟੂ ਮਾਈ ਚੈਨਲ at youtube.com/harpreetsingh show, and if you want to contact me, you can WhatsApp me at 604-603-7555 or email me at harpreetsingshow@gmail.com. Thanks once again for sparing your valuable time and being a part of this program.